And you can see my face with this whole thing?
I can see your face.
Okay, beautiful.
You are beautifully framed.
I don't want to hide the talent,
Your
know,
frames
behind.
Are framed beautifully, so.
My frames are framed. Okay.
All right, well, let's get things started just for audio purposes. Give me your name, your age, and your occupation.
Full name?
Yeah, sure. Give me full name if you want to.
Okay, awesome. My name is Liz Wilcox. I own my own company, so I guess you could call me an entrepreneur, and I am 35 years old.
What is your company?
I own a personal brand where I teach people email marketing.
Interesting.
Email to tree mail, baby.
I've never heard of that type of business before, but it seems like a necessity, especially nowadays.
Yeah, so when you go to, a restaurant or a retail and they say, enter your email, and then you promptly ignore all their emails. I teach companies how to get people like you and me to actually open up that email and to purchase.
How did that end up coming about? Was that something you were always interested in?
No, I've always been a writer, so technically I still consider myself a writer by trade, but I actually started off as an RV travel blogger.
What? As like an active participant in the traveling as well?
Correct. So I bought an RV. I traveled around with my then husband and my daughter for 4 years, and I got really successful, and people kept asking me, how are you making money with a blog? And I said, I have an email list. And once enough people asked me that, I said, actually, I think I need to sell that business and go all in teaching people email marketing because it changed my life. It got me out of poverty. And to be able to do that for other people has been incredible. I have my dream job.
That's incredible. Well, let's go from poverty to parvati. Let's talk about Survivor.
Amen.
What brings you out here?
I have no idea.
That's one of the most real things I've heard all day.
Is that a real answer? Honestly, I applied because my daughter kind of dared me. She's 8 years old. I have always loved the show.
Yeah.
I've always thought, hey, I think I could be on that show. I think I am a character. And about 6 months ago, I was watching with my daughter, and Jeff comes on the screen and he's like, all this could be yours.
Right.
Apply now. And I said, I think I could do really well on the show. And my daughter, who was 7 at the time, she said, are you going to talk about it or are you going to do it?
From the mouths of babes.
Amen. And I said, I'm going to do it. I'm really going to apply. I think I could get on. And she said, well, I'll believe it when you're on the show and we're watching you. And so, mama didn't raise no fool. I picked up my phone. I'm a business owner. I live and die by my calendar. And I just happened to have a 9 a.m. slot. Free, no calls. And so I booked myself and I said, okay, I'm going to apply tomorrow. I applied, and Mike, I kid you not, within 10 minutes, someone had emailed me back. I filled out the application and they called me 3 hours later. 10 days later, I was talking to Jeff. A couple months later, I was in LA. And now I'm sitting here talking to you.
It's like the length of a Survivor season, essentially, was the process of you getting onto Survivor.
Absolutely. It happened so fast. So when people are asking me, why are you here? I'm like, I don't quite know yet. For adventure, for fun.
On a dare.
On a dare by a 7-year-old.
As you all do. I'm sure if you run into 90% of contestants, they'll say it's on dare by a 7-year-old.
Right. I'm not unique at all.
So talk to me about your history of Survivor, because you talked about watching that casting announcement, but was this something that's been, part of your viewing schedule for a while now?
Yeah, on and off. I always say that Survivor has come to me in really dark times. When I was a kid, when it first came out, I really struggled socially, and I was kind of a shut-in. I just sat in my room, reading books, watching TV, and I had this little black and white TV, with the knobs and the antenna and everything. And I remember turning it on, and there was Survivor, and I had seen commercials for it. There's Richard Hatch, there's Sue, there's Kelly, there's Rudy. And I just loved it. And I watched a few seasons. Then I got to high school. And, who watches TV in high school, right? I got a job. I was working, all that. And then I got pregnant. Fast forward. I mean, not in high school. Fast forward a while. Probably about 10 years. I got pregnant, and I was in the middle of I gave birth in the middle of like a snowstorm, and I said, what am I going to do? I'm kind of depressed. I'm a little lonely. My husband was in the military. He was gone. And I started watching Survivor again. I said, oh, I used to love this show. And I got so into it. And I binged all seasons. I think it was 20 or 25 seasons at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought me back to life. I thought, oh, I could be on that show one day. I'm just like so-and-so. Oh, I love Tyson. I love Russell, this and that. And then when I got a divorce, it came back to me again. I settled down. I got out of the RV. I had cable, and I said, oh, Survivor is on Wednesday nights. I want to watch Survivor. And I started watching it with my daughter, and full circle, she dared me to be on the show, and here I am.
So going back to those so-and-sos, give me a winner and a non-winner that you would say you associate yourself with the most.
Again, I'm not sure. I find myself to be so different.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess a winner, most recently, Jam Jam. I'm very social. I like to tell jokes. Everything he was saying, I was like, I would say that. Don't say that.
He would love the rainbow glasses.
Right. For me, it's, I always say, like, I'm just here to look pretty and have fun. And that was something he said. And I'm like, So I really do relate to him. And a non-winner, I relate to, I love Ty.
Mm-hmm.
Ty, for me, I was in shock when he didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also in shock when he wasn't in the conversation of Rob Goddess.
Right. Listen, he did get some Sia money in that moment. So.
He did. And for me, Ty was able to convince everyone not to kill a chicken and eat a chicken when they were starving.
Yeah.
So to me, I really relate to him being his authentic self, just, in and outside of the game, just being himself and just doing what his heart and his intuition said, despite what his brain or his tribe mates or his allies might have said. And I also loved that when he did make a mistake, he was emotional about it. He shared that. And so I really relate to Ty in that way.
So going back to the Jam Jam stuff, you talk about how similar you are in terms of your temperaments, your ability to diffuse with your humor. Are you worried, considering what everyone just saw, that it's like, okay, we're not making history repeat itself here?
Yes, I'm so worried. I'm so worried. But so most people, we've heard about meat shields, right? And we've heard, I think it was Sophie said, Yule is my nerd shield at Winners at War. I need a silly shield, okay? I don't know if anyone's ever had a silly shield, but
you're the first I've ever coined it, yeah.
Awesome. You heard it here first. So I need a silly shield. I need someone who is going to be rambunctious and, like Mike just said about, that person's just like Jam Jam. We just saw Jam Jam win. We got to vote him out. So I need that silly shield.
Yeah.
Just like I think Carolyn and Jam Jam and even Carson to an extent were each other's, I was looking at it as silly shields. Oh, they're not that serious. Oh, yeah, they're strategic, but we can't take them seriously. I need some folks like that.
Yeah.
So that, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm silly, but look at that guy.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you're looking for in a tight ally besides, that goofiness and any other qualities on the list?
Absolutely. You have to believe in yourself. There are so many people, and we don't normally talk about this, and we don't see it on camera because it's so internal, but we all self-sabotage. When we don't believe in ourselves, when we, get that self-doubt, there's something inside of us that is saying, no, you can't do that. Don't say anything. Your intuition is wrong. So I'm looking for an ally that clearly loves themselves and is just as confident as I am, so we can get farther in the game and I don't have to worry when somebody comes pss, 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 that they, are deterred because they have a strong center of self.
I don't think I've ever heard a couch like that. And that is so interesting to me, that the confidence in yourself carries forward to the game. And I think that's, it's reliability is what it comes down to, just more so directed reliability and reliability to yourself additionally.
Absolutely. Going back to what I said about Ty, one of the reasons I believe he didn't win was he was so worried about tripping up with his English. That was his second language.
Yeah.
And he kept saying throughout the game, oh, if I make it to tribal, if I can convince them, if I can find the words. And he was always saying, well, I can't find the right words. And it was that lack of belief that he could just speak that I think tripped him up in the end. So I'm looking for someone who is just as loud and proud in themselves as I am.
So give me one life experience you feel has prepared you for this. I know you talked in your bio and you mentioned it here as well about, leaving your husband, and obviously in a very tough situation. Would you say that's something that has really prepared you for what's to come?
Yeah, I guess. Getting a divorce actually wasn't too difficult. For me, honestly, one of the things that I think has really prepared me, and that's really unique, is I have a lot of food allergies. I'm allergic to like a few dozen things. I'm allergic to fruit. I'm allergic to chicken. If I eat eggs, I feel like I'm drunk. It's very strange.
I'm so fixated on that. I've never heard that before.
It's so weird, and it's incredibly rare, and it took me years to figure out. But now I'm so clear-headed. That's why I'm going to win. But anyway, I'm off the eggs, so I'm going to win Survivor.
Just imagine like your bachelorette party of like, all right, we're going to a diner. Give me all the eggs you have.
Sabotager, bring the deviled eggs. But the food allergies for me the last few years, they've developed, and I've had to learn to re-eat. I've had to learn what food scarcity is, to really fear food and wonder, where's my next meal coming from? Is this safe to eat? Should I get a buddy to look at this? Can you confirm with me? When I go to a restaurant, I have to prepare in advance. I can't just go on the fly. And hopefully none of my other contestants and castaways have had that food insecurity and scarcity. And I can't wait to watch them crumble. I can't wait for them to cry about how hungry they are, to look at something and know they can't eat it, aka your reward challenge.
Yeah.
That's every single day. Even we're doing this interview, they gave me lunch. There's tomatoes in it. I'm allergic. I'm just eating lettuce today. And I don't think the average person has that experience with food. Food is a delight. It's a pleasure in life. And for me, it's a very scary thing. And on the island, it's a very scary thing. And so I'm already prepared in that way. Yeah. I can't wait to see these people crumble, honestly.
Now, have you done any research as to like local foliage and anything? I'm sure they've given you some talkings as well as to like what you specifically should and shouldn't eat. Yeah,
they have. And I've done some research myself, and I've tried to come up, because I can eat fish, and so I've tried to come up with really creative ways to go fishing if I don't win the fishing reward, right? And so I actually packed a long sleeve shirt that I know that is a little big on me, and I can tie the sleeves together over the neck hole and hopefully cast a net that way, and hopefully get a tribe mate to go in and, shoo the fish into the net, because I'm finna eat.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is you would have the best of both worlds in that you'd be able to provide, but also you're not taking anyone's share as well.
Yeah, and I don't have to open one coconut because I'm allergic. So I'm not going to be wasting any energy on trying to get coconuts. I'm not going to have to deal with that frustration of, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, I can't get this open. Can you help me? I'm going to be like, well, I'm just going to go to the water well. Like, let's pray we win the challenge. Or I'm going to go fishing, or, I'm going to go find, there's certain berries I can eat. And the last thing I'll say about the food, it's kind of ironic. As a kid, I was deathly afraid of worms. Like, I would start screaming, crying. I was a weird kid.
Is it more of a squeamish thing or a genuine fear?
It was a genuine fear, like someone would be afraid of heights. It was wild. I've come a long way, but I think my weirdness still shines, which might be why I'm on the show. But I was deathly afraid of them. But now I'm really going to have to overcome that fear. I'm not deathly afraid anymore. They just kind of gross me out. But earthworms are a great source of protein out here. So you're going to see me squealing and screaming, but I'm going to eat them because I'm going to have to.
What do you think people are going to perceive you as, besides the one to hand the worms off to?
I don't know. I think they'll perceive me as a social player, someone who's fun, hopefully not too smart. I actually have a master's degree in leadership. That's the only thing I'm not going to tell people.
Okay.
So I know that I'm never going to blend in. I was born to stand out, but I want to stand out in a good way. Oh, she's really friendly. She's personable. She's trying to get along. She's helpful to the tribe. She's not the strongest, but she's not the weakest. So hopefully I'll be able to assimilate myself rather than blend in. I think that's how people will perceive me. Hopefully until it's too late.
Yeah. Well, let's turn the perceptions around. I'm sure you've been making eyes at people for the past few days over at Ponderosa. Is there anyone in particular that stands out to you as like I'm getting good vibes from this person. Best case scenario, if we wind up on a beach together, let's work together.
Okay, there's one girl. She reminds me of my best friend. She's got braids, really dark skin, and she is going to be my silly shield.
You've already got a silly shield in mind.
I hope that she is on my tribe because she seems even more rambunctious and friendly. You know, I caught her vibe very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized other people were catching her vibe, and I was like, oh, wait, this is a situation where I wanted to be her friend, but now I need to keep my enemy closer because I think she's the one to beat.
Wow, making that judgment from the beginning.
Yeah. If people are not, what's the word I'm looking for?
Careful enough?
Careful. Savvy.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the other
Fill
side.
in the blank.
Talking about possible enemies. Is there anyone that you're getting a not so good vibe from?
There's a few people that I just haven't been able to read that have been very, in a good way, head down, just, listening to their little music on their tape player or whatever. And I can't get a read on them. So honestly, those are the people I kind of want to go to first so that, interacting with them, I think I'll be able to get a good read. But there's no one honestly, that's what's so hard is There's no one that I'm like, oh, I don't like you.
Yeah.
There's no one like that. I think it's going to be a great cast. Really fun.
Anyone stand out amongst those non-lookers heads down that you are like, you're someone I really want to have a chat with?
Yeah, there's a guy, he's got 2 earrings and a little bit of a Jerry Seinfeld mullet. He's rocking it better than me, honestly. And I can't get a read on him, but he just seems like really focused. And going back to what I said about, having an ally that, is concentrated and, doesn't self-sabotage, I feel like that guy might be it. I just have to get a read to know for sure.
What's been your level of preparation coming out here? What's been your routine to try to get in survivor shape?
I have done the opposite of what everybody else is doing. I feel like survivors come out here and they've crammed everything. Oh, I did this puzzle. I, did fire until I bled. I did, I worked out. I gained 30 pounds. I did this and that. And when plans go to shit, they don't know what to do. Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to get that puzzle. I thought we would win. I didn't know we would go to tribal this often. I thought I could make friends, and they don't know what to do, and they're in scramble mode the whole time. And so for me, I've been picturing it like a jug, and I've been trying to empty the jug.
Interesting.
So that when I get there, I'm completely open to what is happening. Of course I have a little bit of an agenda. I don't want to be the first boot.
Of course.
But I don't have an agenda where it's like, oh yeah, at first night, I'm going out, I'm hunting for an idol. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Anybody that looks like X, I'm going to go, look out for. For me, it's more of just trying to empty myself so that the right parts can fit in during the game.
Do you think that's a product of the new era in particular, this idea of you never know what's coming? Or do you think if you even played Survivor before that, that's something you would do?
I've never heard of anyone else emptying the jug.
First I've heard of it, certainly.
That and the silly shield. You heard it here first.
You put so many terms in the dictionary before even playing. I love it.
Sweet. So I feel like in the new era, because you can't predict, people overcompensate for that. And it's like, God, I gained this much weight, I did this, I did that, and then they're just anxious the whole time. And when you're anxious, you can't hear the voice within. We always hear it at tribal council about, is this my head or is it my intuition? Am I scared or is this my gut? I can't tell. And I think that's because they've crammed so much in before the game, there's no room left for the truth.
So speaking of that, I actually would love to hear a bit about your own individual decision-making process. Are you typically someone that has a process you think through? Are you more a bit gut-oriented in your real life?
Yeah, so if we talk about is the glass half empty or half full? I always say, I don't know, but I'm drinking it. I'm the type
as long as it doesn't have eggs in
right,
it.
as long as it's not chicken broth or like watermelon juice or something, I'm going to drink it. I love that. Thanks, Mike. So for me, I'm a very quick decision maker. For me, I asked my husband to marry me. When he said, I don't know if this is working, I left 48 hours later. I started my business the day after I had the idea. I sold the business within a month of thinking I was going to sell it. Wow. I applied, I got on. I'm the type of person that I'm sure there's a process, but I mainly really follow my intuition, try to follow my gut, and the less is happening up here, the more I can hear it down here. And I'm hoping that's how I'm going to play the game.
Well, let me see how open your jug is. Let me put a situation in front of you, see how you
All
react.
right. Oh, yes, I love games.
So first couple days on the beach, a boat shows up. You know what it probably means. Someone says you have to pick one person from your tribe to go on a journey. Is this something you're trying to put yourself forward for? You're trying to put someone else under the bus? What's your strategy here?
This is something that I've been thinking about, and I'm not sure. It really depends on if I feel that I am assimilated in the tribe. I would probably let someone else go so that I can stay back. I can hear the accusations of, are they telling the truth? Are they not? If I feel like I'm closer to the bottom or I'm getting bad read of other people, I'm rigging that rock draw and I'm getting my ass on the boat because I need a lifeline.
In terms of advantages in general, is this something that, despite the fact that your hunger might be different from others, is that something you're hungry for out here?
Advantages?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Idols, advantages, got them shaking in their panages. That's my motto. You like that one? I came up with that.
That might be a very
night.
different dictionary that I think it's going to be a part of.
Just the Lizisms.
Yes.
Survivor Lizisms.
They need to bring back the immunity idol phrases for clues, because like you would have had them in droves.
I could write all the tree mail. I would be great at it.
I mean, again, that's your job.
Right. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of like visualizations and things like that. And one of the things I've been telling myself are like bonuses, advantages, and wins just naturally draw to me. So of course I'm going to be out there looking for advantages, pushing my tribe to win those reward challenges, and really just looking at everything as an advantage, trying to find a positive spin for anything. Just like I said about, the food allergies, that in real life sucks. But how can I turn it into an advantage in the game? Oh, well, I'm used to starving, so here we go. I can't wait to see you crumble like a cookie, baby. And so not just the rewards that the game intentionally gives you, but, the other rewards. Like I loved when Roxroy went to Edge of Extinction or whatever the heck they're calling it.
Exile, I think they officially
Exile
called it,
or whatever. He saw that as such an advantage. He's, where Erica was crying, this is my worst fear. I loved the juxtaposition of it that Roxroy was like, this is an advantage. I get my head out of the game for a couple days, so I'm going to go back in clear-headed. I'm going to go blind one day, look at this view. I don't have to listen to them whine and complain. I don't have to manage nobody. He saw it as an advantage. So that's the mindset that I'm going in as far as, intentional rewards and advantages and whatever Survivor hands me.
What is your hottest Survivor take, in your opinion? Could be about a player, season, or the show.
I love the Final Four fire making challenge.
Oh my God.
I agree with Jeff. I think it gives that person who probably is the best player that one final shot at making it to the end. Because if the other players are smart, they are going to band together and they're going to vote your ass out. So this gives you one final shot at that immunity, at placing yourself in the final tribal. So I really love it. I remember watching the heroes versus hustlers versus healers.
Right.
Triple H. I remember watching that and I loved Ben. I know that's another hot take. I think he's one of the best winners to ever win. I love everything he does. That was the most exciting season for me because he started at the top, King Ben, and then it was like, actually, you suck and we don't like you. You suck and we don't like you. You suck. Oh my gosh, how does this guy?
Yeah.
And then to win it at the end, because I was almost in tears. I was like, oh no, he needs this for his family. He's a veteran. And, you know, of course I'm on the couch like, Ben, no, how, no. And then that final 4 came with the fire making.
Right.
And I was like, it blew my mind. So I don't care who you are, what you say. That's great television. And it's a great opportunity for the player who is a great player to have one final shot. And who doesn't like that?
Well, let me give you one final question. If you could bring a celebrity or a fictional character out to the island as your loved one for a loved one's visit, who's it going to be and why?
I would bring Will Smith.
Okay.
I would bring the Fresh Prince himself. In my business, they call me the Fresh Princess of email.
Really?
Yes. I'm a huge Will Smith fan, and some of his stories about his life just really inspire me. He tells this amazing story about, as a child, his dad knocked down a wall in a building and they had to rebuild it. And he told his dad, this is impossible. You knocked down the wall. It's just not there anymore. And his dad picked up a brick and he said, son, you don't build a wall. You just lay one brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid, and soon you'll have a wall. And that's how ever since I heard that story as a little girl, every day I just wake up and it's like, how can I just lay this one brick?
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to play Survivor. And so if I could bring him in to give me some pep talks, maybe a little bit more of that story, to hear it in person, oh my gosh, it would be over for everybody else.
Well, I'm so excited to see the wall that you will build by the end of all this. This was such a delight to get to talk with you. I'm so happy to have you out here. Your energy is just so fantastic for this. And I think it'll hopefully carry over to the beach as well. And, you know, for days and days and 26 days to come. This has been so, so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mike.
So nice. So you are good to go. We are officially finished. So
that
nice
was so
meeting
fun.
you. Thank you.
Watched that silly shield.
The pleasure was all mine. I'm so excited
No,
for the silly
so
show.
great to meet you, Mike.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. That was so fun.
Such a great time. Nailed it.